We are back once again, guys, right here on the channel. We're here to talk about Smackdown Live. Now I know All Elite Wrestling had their rally. Okay? I know All Elite Wrestling started their rally. And apparently WWE were not allowing fans into WWE's Smackdown because they were wearing merchandise of AEW. Now, I will agree on a few things. Yes, it is very selfish of WWE to do that. B, fans are allowed to wear whatever they want. Yeah, sure. But in reality, I think it's more because of the fact that these fans went out of their way to go to AEW and attend their rally and then go to WWE. I'm not saying these people can do whatever they want. I'm not saying they can't do whatever they want. Of course they can. Of course these people can do whatever they want. We're all human. We are allowed to do and say what we want. But it's more the fact that it feels like WWE, they are scared. But I don't want people to go to lengths to where they say, oh, I hope Kenny Omega goes to All Elite Wrestling because WWE doesn't deserve Kenny Omega. Over a t-shirt? Over fans not... Over WWE not wanting fans into WWE wearing All Elite Wrestling clothes? So that's why you think WWE doesn't deserve Kenny Omega? By the way, Kenny Omega wasn't even there. So, your rant of hoping Kenny Omega to be there is obviously a waste of time. I will speak about All Elite Wrestling in another video, because I'm actually going to go over a list of wrestlers who I think could go to All Elite Wrestling. That is definitely something I think you guys should definitely keep your eyes on, because I think it will be a video I think you people would like to hear. But let's get on to WWE. Let's get on to Smackdown Live. Smackdown Live was alright. It was definitely good for what it was for 2 hours. This is why I wish Monday Night Raw would go back for 2 hours. Would go back to 2 hours, because at least Raw would actually be somewhat enjoyable if it was 2 hours. The show started off with Daniel Bryan in the crowd, or in the backstage area, ranting and calling everybody fickle and pretty much slapping hot dogs out of people's hands, throwing mugs at people for wrecking the environment. And he went to the merchandise stand. You know, do you want to know what this reminded me of? When Daniel Bryan went to the merchandise stand, that reminded me that whole thing with Natalya and Nikki Bella. You guys remember that? Natalya went to the merchandise stand and she saw all this Nikki Bella clothes. Hats, shirts, armbands. That's what that reminded me of. Daniel Bryan kind of did the exact same thing as what Natalya did when she was feuding with Nikki Bella. Daniel Bryan went to the merchandise stand and he saw no Daniel Bryan merch. And then he proceeded to trash AJ Styles for having hats, t-shirts, gloves in the merchandise stand. Then he went down to the arena. He was pointing at people, telling them to change, fix what you're doing. So, you know, I'm enjoying Daniel Bryan as a heel. I think Daniel Bryan is doing a fantastic job as a heel. So Daniel Bryan, yeah, so he goes down to the arena and then he gets jumped by R-Truth. He gets jumped by R-Truth and a match between them begins. It's a pretty, R-Truth, I like this R-Truth. I want R-Truth to be more of a serious character. I want him, he can be the Joker, he can crack comedy, he can be funny, if he wants to. But there's times where I want him to be serious. Like Carmella was tonight on Smackdown. She was definitely... she was definitely taking herself more seriously in her main event. In the main event. So, but we'll get to that when we get to the main event. But Daniel Bryan defeats R-Truth, obviously, in a pretty decent opening match. And then after the match, the real AJ Styles, which is what they are referring to him, the real AJ Styles, attacks the new Daniel Bryan. Seriously, can you guys please stop it with these bloody catchphrases, these phrases that you're doing? The relentless Seth Rollins, the new Daniel Bryan, the real AJ Styles, enough. Just because they go through a different character or personality change doesn't mean it's new. We had a random tag team match with Andrade Almas, CN Almas, and Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali. This was a very random tag team match. But in the end of this match, Andrade CN Almas pins Rey Mysterio for his first victory in 2019. Finally, Andrade gets a victory. Hopefully, WWE can continue this momentum with Andrade and give him some good momentum. I understand people want to see Andrade pushed, but I think a good showcase in the Royal Rumble. I would actually, people want to talk about how people deserve an opportunity. Why not have Andrade Cien Almas come out at like number 3 or number 4 in the men's Royal Rumble and have him last a long time, like a 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Have him last a good lengthy of time like he did in the 2018 Royal Rumble. I think 2019 should be the year where he at least starts picking up momentum, gets victories under his belt, and maybe even a United States Championship run. I hope so, but I doubt it. But Almas gets a victory here, which is great for him. It's great for him that he's finally getting some momentum on his side. The situation here with Rusev and Nakamura is now basically about Lana, because Lana jumped in to get involved last week, and Lana is now injured. Not really. But Rusev says to Nakamura that if you put your hands on my wife, I'm going to crush you. Nakamura appears on the screen and he shows evidence that he did nothing wrong to Lana. The video shows Rusev kicking Nakamura and Nakamura falling on Lana, because Lana was on Nakamura's back. And Nakamura says that, Rusev, you crush Lana. And then Rusev gets very, very angry and he chases Nakamura backstage. This was basically a booby trap. Nakamura attacks Rusev backstage. The Bar versus the Usos in a tag team match. This was I want to say this was a good tag team match, but we've seen this so many times. And you know what I find funny? I know I don't normally predict things on social media, but when I was watching this match, I immediately knew what was going to happen. If Usos won, they'd get a future tag team title opportunity. I knew what was going to happen when I was just sitting there watching this match. I'm like, Mandy Rose is going to come out and she's going to cost the Usos. And that's exactly what happened. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but if you know what WWE is going to do because of the rivalries that's going on, Naomi, Mandy Rose, Naomi has issues with Mandy Rose flirting with Jimmy Uso. So you kind of figured Mandy Rose was going to get involved. So that's exactly what she did here. She came out with a towel on. Acting like she was naked. And she was telling Jimmy, "Did I leave my clothes in your hotel room?" And this distracts Jimmy, and the Bar get the victory. And Naomi ends up fighting Mandy Rose backstage. Jimmy Uso comes to her aid. But before all that happened, The Miz. And this is where I'm feeling a nightmare is about to happen on SmackDown Live. The Miz comes out and he issues a challenge to the Bar for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. He and Shane McMahon, the best tag team in the world, versus the Bar for the tag team titles. And the Bar accepts the challenge after a bro kick to The Miz. Number one, they're booking Miz as a babyface. Wrong move number one. I don't like seeing The Miz as a babyface. The Miz should not be a babyface. He's not a babyface guy. I understand they want to change and they want to try and change things up with the characters, but The Miz is a heel. He is a natural heel. He should not be smiling, acting all happy, being a babyface. If there was anyone, if you had to ask me, who would I pick to turn face on SmackDown? It'd be Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. I'd pick them because they need a change. I think they would fit the mold as faces really, really well. I think they'd fit that mold well. Saying that they wouldn't, I think it would work for them. But that's just my opinion. But The Miz turning face is the wrong move. Miz turning face is a terrible move. I would only accept Miz as a babyface if Maurice was with him. Because as far as I know, Maurice has never been a babyface. I would only accept Miz as a face if Maurice was there. So that way it would count to her resume that this is the first time she's turned face. That's the only way I would accept Miz as a babyface. But overall, The Miz is not a babyface at all. He never has, he never was, and he never will be. Even when he turned face in 2012 and through majority of 2013, it did not work. It never worked. The reason why I'm calling this a nightmare is because I really am getting worried. The fact that now that this match is going to be happening at the Royal Rumble, it's pretty much telling me that The Miz and Shane McMahon are going to win this match. The only thing that I hope happens in this match is that The Miz turns on Shane. But from what we saw backstage, it doesn't seem like The Miz is going to be turning heel. And that's the thing I don't like. And that's the thing that I'm really hating. That The Miz is not a face. I understand WWE want to do change, but this is not how you change something. Some people may like it, but I don't really like it, and that's just my opinion. And the main event, we had a really good triple threat match between Becky, Charlotte, and Carmella. Now, there's one thing I want to mention here really quick. We saw on Raw Sasha Banks earn a title shot against Ronda Rousey. We saw that happen. Now, I know a lot of people don't tend to trust Wikipedia. I know people don't really trust it that much. But when I checked the Royal Rumble lineup, because that's normally where I check the lineup for the matches, they still had Sasha Banks in the Women's Royal Rumble, and they had a note underneath saying that she's still a participant. Now, I was immediately going to rant about this. Because I saw this before Smackdown. I saw this before Smackdown started. But they showed the graphics. They showed the Smackdown women graphics. And they did not have Sasha Banks' face on that graphic. So, that's a step in the right direction. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I don't like the fact that if you're going to give someone a title shot or have someone earn a title shot, they should not be able to compete in the Royal Rumble match itself. Because to me, that's unfair. Everyone hated it when Roman Reigns did it in 2017, when he competed for the Universal Championship, and then he was in the Royal Rumble. The women can't do the same thing. The women cannot do the same thing. If Sasha Banks is getting a title shot, she stays out of the Rumble. And this is the issue here. That I am finding with people with Becky Lynch here. Becky Lynch won the triple threat, and a lot of people have now come to the conclusion, that I feel like the people that earned the title shots are not going in the Rumble. That's why I had to bring this up. Because it felt like that Sasha Banks was going to get a second chance, but when they showed the graphics, she wasn't there. Now, I don't know if Sasha Banks is still going to be in it or not, even though they didn't show her face on the graphic. But in my opinion, if you're getting a title shot, you should not compete in the match. You should not compete in the Rumble match. So that means Becky Lynch, no matter what you people may say, Becky Lynch cannot compete in the Women's Royal Rumble. Even if she loses to Asuka, she can't compete. It's very simple. If you want these title matches to happen at the Royal Rumble, if you want these title matches to make sense, then you have replacements. You add in maybe someone from NXT or NXT UK, or debut Lacey Evans or Nikki Cross. That is how you handle it. You don't say, yeah, you're going to get a second shot. No. You pick your 30 women. If Becky and Sasha are getting a title match, you take them out and you find other people to sub them in. That's my main issue here, because I feel like WWE could do something wrong here. This is a very good triple threat match. Carmella's definitely improved. She definitely has improved. So, Becky Lynch, like I said, she got the win here. I don't have a problem with Becky Lynch winning this match. And of course, I know why people are not happy about Becky Lynch winning. I know why people are not happy with Becky Lynch winning. Because this all much confirms it. This pretty much confirms it, ladies and gentlemen. I know how people fantasy book. I know people like to fantasy book situations. But you can't fantasy book your way out of this one, guys. It's pretty much set in stone. Becky Lynch is not gonna face Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. You can come up with all sorts of fantasy bookings or theories. You can say Becky Lynch could do an edge and attack someone. No. In the Elimination Chamber. No way. There's no way you can do it. There's no way for Becky to get to Ronda. The journey is over, guys. It's all over for Becky. She's not going to get Ronda. I know there's 3 months left, and they could still somehow do it, but I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening anymore, guys. I was going to give it a shot. I was going to give your fantasy book a shot and see if they would do it. But it seems like they're not going to. This all much confirms my tweet that Charlotte's going to win the Royal Rumble. Because if you guys see my tweet, I tweeted it on Raw, and then I put the exact same tweet again on Smackdown, but adding in some extra words, saying that I won't get too cocky unless WWE have something planned up their sleeve, which is the other thing I writ, because maybe WWE may have another way around it. But either way, I feel like now that Becky Lynch has won, she's not going to be in the Royal Rumble, and this all much confirms that Charlotte is most likely going to win. So that's my SmackDown review, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Comment your opinions down below as well on what your thoughts on SmackDown and the whole incident with All Elite Wrestling at the start, and other opinions as well on SmackDown Live. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all maybe tomorrow for my new video, or maybe Friday. Depends. See you guys then.